Stuttgart. I went there, observatory. I cannot remember exactly. Met 2 members. I got to know someone. Helped somewhat with the guidances, at this time also in Heilbronn. After the guidances, we often went for a drink, sometimes also for a meal, Yugoslavian. One lived in Ludwigsburg. He always gave me a ride. It still should take a long time before I get my driver's license. Once we were eating in Ludwigsburg, together with others, Portuguese, talked. I made conversation. Hermann Hesse, the glass bead game, or was it Siddhartha, said that I did not understand the book, had laid it aside. Maybe later wanted to read it once again. He found that good that I admitted to myself that I laid it aside for later. I've read Hesse never again, have found my literary home on another continent, there where I would like to be so much. Ludwigsburg. Again dinner. Very delicate Italian restaurant. Tornadoes alla Rossini, foie gras, Madeira sauce, served in 2 courses. Nervous, insecure, alone, as always. Misplaced, as so often I feel so. Wonderful food, excellent wine, fantastic service. Sweating. Paying at last, overcome at last, back in my room again at last, alone again at last. A nice evening. Railway station. Our little railway station. Often we had to wait with our bikes until the train was passed through, when we drove around to the river, the old and the new part, even when this was not our actual stomping ground. It was always impressive when they came snorting. Already can be heard from afar, not to mention the steam clouds at all. And then they drove past with an impressive roar, everything draping in fog, the ground vibrated, so powerful they were. Since the station was very small, only few of the powerful locos were stopping, but if so, it was even more impressive to see how they start again. One saw like it tensed its muscles, like it got ready. 2 with a powerful jolt, at first only very slowly and then faster and faster to set the train in motion again. And then there was a trick. We put pennies on the tracks, waiting until the train came in order to roll over. Sometimes we could not find them afterwards, but if they were pressed so flat that the imprint was nothing more to see, only a thin oval piece of copper was still left. Of course, this had to be done considered. Gave it still already for a penny, yet all kinds of sweets to buy. But for the suspense and wonder, one was able to relinquish from time to something else. Today there's an underpass, new platforms. The city train stops frequently, and the station building is no longer one. Railway station. You were an ugly city, and you had an ugly railway station. Shabby, dirty, drunks in the early morning, drunks late at night. Today everything is neat, clean, and your courtyard is no longer recognizable. Suburban trains depart from there, the bus station. But one thing has remained. Could one in former times directly from you even drive to Berlin? So you are still left behind from all remote connections. You are like a beautiful harbor, only the small ships mooring at, the big drive around you. If you want to go far away, you were not quite the best starting point. But to cherish, one can you despite all. Ludwigsburg. In Heilbronn, my first time at the observatory. In Ludwigsburg, time of many observations with very large binoculars, Dieter. Often from the Marstall Center. A dark corner was enough, the lights of the city interfered remarkably little. Although my first variable star I observed lying in the grass between Stresemannstraße and Heilbronner Straße, R said Cassiopeia, fascinating, it should release me never again. But the center was closer, and I made a lot of beautiful observations from there. Also through the entrance area, the large glass door. One saw the young girls, even a few boys were among them, as they easily and gracefully made their exercises. How exhausting it was, what kind of effort they took upon themselves, week after week, for a dream. Maybe one of them is a great ballerina today, even if the chances to this are so very low. Stuttgart, but perhaps at least caught a ballet. How many dreams may have been disappointed, how many travails not come to fruition. Today I admire them even more like at that time. You have to try, fail probably, but the attempt is the beginning, the necessity. I always had too many dreams, could never tie myself down, concentrate, decide. Is it different today? Stuttgart. It was nice that, after I had indeed done many things in you, the time in Ludwigsburg, college, study, vocational school, I finally also once lived in you, especially in the most beautiful of your parts, in a special place. Just a few meters I had to the river. I often walked along it. Just across the river I had to go. I was already at the plants and animals. And again across the river, just at another point, I was already at the trees and the roses. Shortly cut across, in your center, planetarium, gallery, art society, Kaiserstraße, Schlossplatz, cafes. Never theater, ballet, or even opera. Never I would have the courage to do it. But most beautiful, just a few meters to the first pool. A few train stops, the second pool. And just a little further, the third pool. The time was not easy, perhaps one of the worst times of my life. Pain, physical, back, leg. But you made it bearable, helped me when I walked. To sit was often much worse. Most bearable it was in the water, when it carried me. East. The eyes I closed, was able to forget, even unbent. I was never on your festival, as well as in Munich, although both took place when I lived in you. Even though I lived in Munich around the corner, and also with you it were only 3 or 4 stations which I would have to drive, or could have gone by foot. It was enough for me in the evenings, in the urban train or subway, the drunks, vomit and urine in the railway cars. You had so much more to offer. You were still the small town that you were when you were not Bad, only Cannstatt. Have retained you much, even still today. Even today I like to be with you in your smaller park, to walk along the river, which I walked along at so many different sites and locations. I dream again now. Music, television, SWR. If this dream would come true, do you laugh about yourself, old man? Then I would like to live here again. Too many nice memories I have. Almost forgotten the painful moments. Thank you for listening.